Hello, hello, hello folks, I'm Eli and this is our kitchen garden where not only do we grow lots of flowers and veg and fruit and we chill out and relax, but also this is where I do my best to try and make gardening simple, easy and fun for everyone. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, let's get on with today's video. Today we're going to be talking about sowing under cover. Sowing under cover, or winter sowing, you see quite a lot on the internet just now using old milk cartons, but in the UK we use something called a cloche. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do both methods. We're going to do a grow along with Eli and we're going to start our peas. We're going to go to the raised beds and we're going to sow peas under a cloche in the raised bed out in the open, but we're also going to come back to the greenhouse and we'll sow some under cover in the greenhouse. So undercover basically just means we can sow our seeds at this time of year or even a little bit sooner, but we're giving them a little bit of cover to offer extra protection. And it's not really important how you offer that, be it a cloche, some recyclables, your greenhouse, a propagator, doesn't matter. So once we've done the peas in the bed and the peas in the greenhouse, we're going to come back to the bed and we're going to grow some sunflowers in the winter sowing method of using these old milk jugs. And again, we're going to come back to the greenhouse and we're going to grow some in the greenhouse under cover as I would normally do in a propagator. So there's an awful lot going on in today's video. And as usual, if this is the kind of fun content you want to see, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button and feel free to comment below and tell me about what you're growing. But even more importantly, at the end of the video today we're going to do a big giveaway, so keep an eye out for that. Right, to the beds. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sow my first lot of peas here and I'm going to use these cloches to give them a little bit of protection, okay? And the way a cloche works, it basically goes on the ground, and if you live somewhere where it's a wee bit windy, like here, you can put pegs through them to hold them in place, which is what I have to do. It creates its own, if you like, little mini greenhouse, and it just protects the seed mostly from just generally the harsh weather that's around just now. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to sow here like that, and I'll put my seeds there. So I don't know if that helps you guys to see where I'm working, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with about 6 inches between them. And you can see it's a couple of inches deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now don't be tempted to sow too deep and think, oh, that way I'll keep them warm, because then what may happen is those little seeds will use all of their energy coming up and trying to find the surface to get to the light, and then you'll get a really, really weak little plant that's got nothing left. So 2 inches is all these peas need. And my cloche goes on over the top. The top has a little vent, okay? I always leave the vents open, because if you don't allow a little bit of airflow in there, then you risk kind of mould and that kind of thing. Now, I put the mulch back. There is no fancy technical reason for this other than 1, it means there's not a pile of this straw here that the wind could catch, and 2, it helps to hold this down, so a bit of the mulch over the rim and the pegs will hold this in place brilliantly. So that is the first part of sowing outdoors, and we've sown under cover. We've sown our peas in situ in the bed that they're going to grow in. Now we're going to pop into the greenhouse and we're going to grow some peas in the greenhouse Still under cover because it's in the greenhouse, but it's a much bigger cover. I'm going to be using these. Now, this is a root trainer, or it is root trainers, plural. Sweet peas is the most common thing these are used for here in the UK because they allow a really, really long root channel, okay? And also, as you can see, you can pull them apart to then transplant out. So that's the most common thing they're used for. I use them for beetroot and carrots and peas and all that kind of thing. And as usual, up on the left, I did a video before with these where I was sowing my beetroot in them, and I've talked about them when I've been growing my carrots and that kind of thing as well, okay? So either pause now and go and watch that one, links up there, or open this one in a new tab and then you can watch the rest of this video and go back to that one. It's up to you. And it is as simple as this. So we've got our trainer and all we do is fill it with soil. So I've filled it to the top with soil, but there's obviously air in there, so we tap it down and we refill. And there we go. So all I need to do then is get my seeds, peas. Are peas seeds? I suppose they must be, don't know. Get my peas and one in each root trainer. So we have peas in the trainer, and again top it up with soil to cover all those peas. Now what I do as well is I just firm that soil down to make sure that the soil is in contact with the seed all the way. You don't want any little air gaps around the seed. And the last thing, super important thing, is label it. Don't forget to label things. And the awesome thing with my root trainer is it comes with this little propagation lid. So these are currently sown under cover, as in they're in the greenhouse, but I've also got this fabulous little lid. Okay. And they're up on the shelf in the sun. For our second part of the growing under cover, we're going to look at this thing. I see it in the States called winter sowing, but basically it's the same idea. You're creating a little environment that protects your seed and gives it a little bit of warmth. So we're going to do this with some of my sunflowers. So this is just a milk carton, okay? You could use, like I say, you could use a soda bottle, anything like that. You want something that's either clear or almost clear like these are, because you want the light to get in. So you don't want to use anything that's black or dark or anything like that. Getting out the kinks. And what we're going to do is, you need your handy dandy Swiss Army knife or gardening knife or whatever you use. What we do have to do, obviously, is make drainage holes. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this in half, or almost in half. We're going to leave it attached just at the back here, okay? So be careful if you're doing this. And that gives us a little hinge, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is this bottom section, we're going to fill that with soil. As if by magic, I've got my soil. So this is my potting soil that you guys saw me make. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up on the left. It's just the general multi-purpose potting mix I make up myself. A mixture of compost, cocoa coir and perlite. And this is now where we sow our seeds. So So I've got 3 types of sunflower I'm growing this year. I've got my standard big tall sunflowers. These are evening sun. These are multi-head. They get to about 7 foot tall and they have a really dark kind of burnt orange tinge to the petals. I love these. I grow these every year. But I'm also going to introduce 2 smaller varieties this year. This is Little Leo, which get to, if I can find it, 60 centimetres high. So I think these will be fab in the bed. And this one is Solar Flash F1. This one will get to 60 centimetres high. So they both get to about 2 foot tall. And I just thought it'd be really interesting. So let's see. I took the gloves off because sunflower seeds are much smaller than peas and harder to deal with. But all I'm going to do, use that as a weight. I'm going to put, in this space, I'm going to put 3. You'll have to judge what you think in terms of space, okay? The plants are going to actually grow in here until they're a decent size and ready for us to put them out. So you need to make sure they've got space in here. And again, follow your packet instructions of how deep and spacings. Now, they're in there and I've covered them over. The next thing I have to do is give it a wee water. So, basically, you've planted some seeds. How does the undercover come in? It's this. Some tape, and we're going to reseal this. So, those little sunflower seeds are now in their own tiny little greenhouse. All I need to do now is write the name on here so I know what's in there. And yes, you guessed it, I left the pen in the greenhouse. Be back in a second. So, these are my sunflower evening sun. I'm just going to leave that out in the garden. Because that's the whole point, is these are plants that are going to be out in the garden. So you're putting them in place where they're going to grow. And you've got a wee bit of protection on them. Now, I've left that lid on there. I will take that off once there's any sign of life in here. I'll just take that away and then that'll give it ventilation. Right, I'm going to get the rest of them all done now. So I now have the strangest looking raised bed in the world, but we've got my peas. They're sown into the ground, but they've got a cloche over the top to give them that little bit of protection. And you can see already that cloche is starting to mist up a little bit because the environment, the atmosphere inside is different from outside. It's warmer than outside. That's why you get the condensation. I've then got 3 different types of sunflower. I've got my full-grown, big, tall sunflower evening sun. I've got my much smaller solar flash. And the last one I'm going to put in here is my Little Leo. Now, again, the mulch is just being used at the minute to hold things in place in case we get a lot of wind, because we live in a wind tunnel. Right. To the greenhouse, because I'm going to grow all of these in the greenhouse as well so that we can compare. Grow along with Eli and Kate. Okay, sunflowers, exactly the same idea. I'm going to grow them in these rather than root trays. Tap it down. Now here's a handy hint for all of your growing, sowing, in pots, in the house, in the greenhouse, whatever it is. Don't fill the soil level up to the top, because when you do that, when you water, the water just runs off. You want to leave a gap below the rim so that the water can pool on top and then go through. So I've got my soil, seeds. Same as outside, the same 3 varieties. And I'm going to grow 2 in each of these little modules. So this is my evening sun. Label now, because I will forget which ones are which. And I'm just making sure the seeds are properly covered with soil. Okay, the other two varieties. So, watered, ready to go in the propagator. Now, you don't need to have all of these propagators and things that I have. That's the point in this video, is to show you all your different options. So today then, the 4th of March 2021, we've started our Kelvedon Wonder Peas, and we've also grown Evening Sun sunflowers, Little Leo sunflowers and Solar Flash sunflowers. I will put all of the seed details below in the description, so if you want to grow along with me, you can. We've grown them in here in the greenhouse, and we're growing them in the beds outside under cover, using the different methods of undercover. Okay, so that leaves me with the one job then, before we say goodbye, the big giveaway. So our big 5,000 subscriber giveaway, you will be pleased to know we are not giving away milk jugs. But what we are giving away is we have partnered with the amazing people at quickcrop.co.uk, which is a supplier that we actually use, and it's a supplier we bought these hooped frames for the beds from. They have given us, well, they haven't given us, they're going to give you two £50 vouchers to spend on their quickcrop.co.uk website to buy anything you want. So quickcrop.co.uk, two £50 vouchers to give away. It is only open to the UK and it is only to spend on their .co.uk website, just to note. But what I'm going to ask you to do then is, if you want to win one of these vouchers, quite simply comment below this video. Tell us where in the UK you are that you're going to be growing. Is it going to be in your garden, in your greenhouse? Is it in the Wirral? Is it in Kent? Is it in, I'm trying to think of places I've visited. Is it in Hertfordshire? I like Hertfordshire. Is it up in Aberdeen? Is it on an island in the Hebrides? Tell me where you are. And also, what are you going to spend your vouchers on? What are you going to be buying? Okay, this is just for my benefit because I'm being nosy. What we're going to do though is the same as last time, is we'll pick a comment at complete random to get a voucher. Okay, now don't be disappointed if you don't win today, because Quick Crop have also given us a 10% off discount code just for you guys. So if you use this code, Eli and Kate, at the checkout on quickcrop.co.uk, you'll get 10% off anything you buy. How cool is that? Right, as usual, I need a wee cup of tea. I have been Eli, this is our kitchen garden. See you next week, folks.